Hello and welcome to our web chat on how TreasuryXpress provides solutions on demand. We have Anis Raal, founder and CEO of TreasuryXpress, who was a corporate treasurer with Valor and ADP before setting up TreasuryXpress, which uses a new approach to building TMS solutions. Anis, before we go into more detail, what was your objective in setting up TreasuryXpress?
Hi, Jack, and thank you for organizing this web chat. During my experience as a treasurer in my previous life, I was forced to buy a TMS. I was forced to get all the functionalities, even the functionalities that I don't need to. So I had to pay and I had to implement everything. So the idea of TreasuryXpress is a little bit to democratize a little bit the treasury management systems by giving the treasurers what they really want. If they want a small module, a small functionality to use, they need to have it, and they need to pay only for this and not for the whole system. So this is the idea of TreasuryXpress, and this is why we call it On-Demand Treasury.
And it's obviously been successful because you have now got 130 clients globally. It's really quite impressive. But have you found a similarity in the problems worldwide?
I'm going to start with two things. First of all, you have the implementation, and I can tell you regarding the implementation that over all the users that we have worldwide, we have the exact same issue. It's everywhere. Same complexity to implement a TMS, which is how I'm going to connect my treasury management system to the banking community, to the market data provider, from where you need to get the raw materials in order to build your treasury, in order to build your cash forecast, in order to do all your daily treasury, for example. On the other hand, you have different, I would say, a different behavior from a user's perspective regarding the functionalities you have. For example, in the US, they think much more about accounting, where in Europe they think much more cash. You have a slightly different interpretation of treasury regarding every geographic zone. But the most important thing is that regarding the implementation, which is the connectivity, it's the same issue, I can tell you, everywhere.
So you have this really impressive idea about bringing a new delivery model to the treasury industry. Can you explain this? Because this is really...
So what is the concept of on-demand? From my perspective, a treasury management system should worry about how to integrate the data, should worry about how to calculate the balances, how to calculate the interest, how to generate, for example, the loans schedule and installment. The traditional TMSs before, they used to do everything, not only integrating the data, but also the treasury management system provider used to work on the infrastructure, enabling the data to come to the TMS. So we used, in fact, to work on connectivity. We used to work on several topics that are not related to treasury sometimes, that they are much more technical. The last 5 years, we have witnessed a lot of technology innovations from new startups that they are focusing on some area where it's not related to treasury. For example, I'm going to give you an example about the connectivity and the API to connect to your bank. These companies, they are not doing treasury. They are just focusing on a technological and technical area, which is I'm going to provide a technology, cheap technology and very fast technology, not very expensive, not very hard to implement, that they will give the TMS the capacity to connect to their banks on the spot and collect the data. And then the TMS will have to worry about integrating that data. And here is the most important thing in treasury. And here it's, in fact, where the TMS provider should work on, and not on the data or the statements from the banks to the TMS. And the idea of on-demand treasury that we built in TreasuryXpress is that why should we rebuild everything from scratch? Why we don't work with these startups and companies that they are providing some APIs that can really facilitate our life, the best in terms of treasury and the best in terms of technology that they live around the treasury management system. Here's the idea of on-demand treasury. For example, I have a client that they don't want, for example, to connect to their banks additional protocols that we have over the market, like Swift or host-to-host, for example, or EBIX or any other protocol, known protocol. They don't want to pay a lot of money and to invest a lot of money to get these data from the banks. So, and they have already a partner, an API that will give them on the spot and quickly this information. So we said, why not we build a system where we can? It's like a supermarket, in fact, you have the core ready to host all the modules that you want to collect and to build and you want to put inside the supermarket. So the idea of on-demand treasury is that the client who wants to add something to the TMS from an external provider, why not? We can sync with the API of this provider and enabling him to work on it. If he wants to convert his foreign exchange currencies through a partner that he's providing, who is providing the rates for less money than other traditional providers. So we should be capable to connect our solution to his API provider and to provide him with his data.
I believe you've done that with a couple of foreign exchange providers.
Yes, we do it with several providers. We do it for the forex. We even for the connectivity also we have many new providers. Arrivals over the market. Like I can give example, but like Yodlee, like the hedging, for example, we have a specialist in hedging like Hedgebook. We are also working with eBury. So we have really a catalog from where the client can select the best from everything. We have the core system capable to host all these players and to profit from their expertise in a specific niche that the treasury management system maybe is not expert in it.
So if you take, for example, Hedgebooks or eBury, how long would it take you to integrate their solution into your overall on-demand treasury system?
Right now, it's on the spot because we are already. I would say we had already an experience with them with an existing client. So when we're gonna onboard a new client, it's gonna be quick and fast because it's very easy, in fact, to synchronize with APIs. But at the first time, of course, we had to build the connectivity part and we had to understand their API. But it's not. But once you do it, it's a one-shot effort. Once you do it once, after that, the onboarding of new clients is extremely quick.
So if I was a treasurer and a multinational company and we got hedging requirement, payment demands, payment systems from around the world, and some risk management, how would you put that together?
The goal is to unify all the platforms into the treasury management system. So if you have our system is a modular one, is that we have the basics and then we can build above the basics by adding all the APIs or even the other systems that the client is using with one single goal is to unify everything into one basket. From a technical perspective, I would say the grouping of all these functionalities into one system, the client is using a modern system with APIs or with web services, it's now easy. And here what is really amazing in the new technologies trend that we are seeing over the market. If the system you are using is capable to onboard APIs or web services, the connections to these external providers is really very fast. It's much faster than connecting to folders to import files because you are not integrating files anymore, Jack. You are integrating data, and here it differs a lot.
So, if you bring all this together, what's going to be the impact of this approach? Because it seems to me this is very significant.
What's going to happen is that the treasury management system providers will have to focus on the real business, that working on the integration of the data, working on the analysis of the data, and worrying about the payment execution rather than worrying about how I'm gonna send my payment file to the banks, and if this payment file will be blocked somewhere in the channel between my server or the server of the banks. When you use an API, for example, I'm going to give you the example of PSD2. When you're going to have PSD2 live, for example, it's one API to all the banks. You will not be worried about how I'm going to connect to a server of each bank. You're going to use one protocol. You're going to use one syntax. You're going to use one language to send to any banks in Europe. And this is a game changer for all the treasurers. So where we are going is that we're going to, as a treasurer, from our perspective, TreasuryXpress, we're gonna worry about our real business, which is adding new functionalities in Treasury and not worrying and working on other stuff that they are not related to Treasury, but we are now forced to work on it because the technologies that we used to have in the early 90s and beginning of the internet era was we didn't have all the capabilities that we have right now. It's really, we can rely on experts that they can provide us with connectivity. We can rely on experts that they can provide us with hedging or forex conversion or trading, rather than doing everything ourselves.
We truly are witnessing or going through a revolution here. Thank you very much. Most interesting.
Thank you, Jack.